We're going fishing today. Last episode, Thomas was impatient and left his guard behind. Let's see what's changed. This is a short review of episode 12, Gone Fishing. Timestamps on screen. We'll do a quick walkthrough of the episode now, and the review comes after. We start today's episode with the narrator telling us that Thomas always looks forward to seeing the river. He wanted to stop and watch people fish, but his driver always told him no. What would the Fat Controller think if we were late? Every time he met another engine, he would tell them he wants to fish, and they'd always say, "Engines don't go fishing." Thomas thought they were all being silly. One day, Thomas stopped at the station by the river to get more water, but the water tower was out of order. His crew decided that they could get water from the river if they were quick. They stopped on the bridge and got to work with a leaky bucket and a long rope. Thomas had enough water to make it to the next station now, so off he went. But before he could make it, he started to feel funny. There was a pain in his boiler, and he was letting off steam in an alarming way. There was now a genuine concern that he'd blow up, so they damped down his fire and struggled on. Also, he's got Percy's face here for some reason. They uncoupled from the coaches near the station, and ran Thomas well away from there, as he continued to hiss in an alarming way. The guard called for an inspector, and the driver put danger signs all around Thomas. Sir Topham arrived with the inspector and said,
"Cheer up, Thomas," they said. "We'll soon put you right."
Once the driver explained what had happened, the inspector knew right away that the feed pipe was blocked. The inspector climbed up to look in the tanks, and calmly climbed down and asked Sir Topham to have a look and tell him what he sees. This brings me to one of the best lines in the entire show.
"Inspector," he whispered, "can you see fish?"
Keep in mind that Thomas is terrified he's going to explode at the moment, but hey-ho, it's time to fish in Thomas's tanks. There's no need for anyone to be punished for the incident because everyone's been scared to death anyway, so Sir Topham Hatt decides to have a lovely dinner of fish and chips. No, that's not a joke. They set up a table in the yard and everything. I love this show. Sir Topham basically just says, "Oh, so you have gone fishing. Fish aren't good for you. Don't do it again." Thomas agrees, saying that engines don't go fishing. It's too uncomfortable. And he rolled back to his coaches, still looking quite uncomfortable. Review time. Music is really good. We get a top-tier Distressed Thomas theme when he's working on exploding. There's not much to say about the music aside from that. The only new thing to talk about with the visuals is the fishing scene and the picnic. The river scene is very impressive to me, as well as the detail of the rust on the inside of Thomas's tanks. With the fishing and picnic scenes, again, that's pretty impressive. Using figures that small had to be super difficult. The makeshift picnic table is great as well. Also, what is Sir Topham Hatt's car? I want one. As for characters, today's problem isn't even Thomas's fault. Sure, he's afraid of fish now, but he didn't choose to eat them anyway. This one's on his crew, and side note, it isn't unheard of for steam engines to get fish in their tanks. Some fish would serve the purpose of keeping the tanks clean. Anyway, back to the story. Thomas may have wanted to go fishing, but that doesn't mean he wanted to have fish in his tank. This one isn't his fault, but it did make a scary moment. Thomas was in danger, his crew was in danger, then the funny round man decided to go fishing and have a picnic. Wonderful comedic relief here, even if there's not all that much to say about the story. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's definitely better than okay, but I can't call it great. It doesn't change the status quo or really change anything. Well, that's not true. This sparks a series-long hatred for fish, which does run on at least through the rest of the model seasons. Outro time. It's nearly Christmas, and I'm not sure if I'll have something ready by then. I will, however, have something ready on the 28th. In case that nothing's ready for Christmas, Merry Christmas. I'll see you a little closer to the new year. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.
"That was good," said the Fat Controller.